Hello guys, welcome back once again with another employment pathway team. This time I got a member of the Banana Folk with me. If you would like to introduce yourself and your team, please.
Hi, my name is Connor, and I was the programmer and game designer for Banana Folk.
Wonderful, pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. So, how did it all start? How did the team get together and apply for the employment pathway?
So it all started when we were at university, and they came to us and they said that the school was going to be a transfuser hub, and that they'd be doing a presentation about it. And one of my classmates approached me and asked if I wanted to do the game jam with her, and if we wanted to put together a little team, and that's where it started.
Okay, wonderful. I'll transition us to the game, and I think everyone is wondering what's going on here. So the game is titled Kitchen Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a play on words as well. What was the thought behind that?
So we were really inspired by like 90s cartoon platformers, specifically like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, that sort of thing, and we just kind of wanted to make it as sort of zany and funny as we could. One of our teammates had an idea for one of their uni projects where you would play as Mexican banana, and you'd fight against other fruit, and we took that idea and we went from there, and just kind of whatever we thought was kind of humorous or funny, just kind of stuck, really.
You're mentioning humorous and funny. Is that like the direction you always wanted to take, or was it just something that came up and on the spot felt right?
We always wanted to take it as sort of like unseriously as possible, if you like. It's not. It was just designed to be fun. We kind of had that mentality. It was like, that sounds fun. Let's put that in. Well, that'll be a bit wacky. Let's do that. And it just all kind of came together, as you see, really.
Yeah, awesome. So, what is the genre? Can we call it a platformer?
Yeah, it's a very 90s style 3D platformer, with sort of linear levels and set objectives. Is just collect the MacGuffin, and obtain. We have a mechanic in the game called useless points. It's just a number that goes up.
Oh.
Because who doesn't like seeing numbers go up?
Right.
So it's very much that kind of classic late 90s, early 2000s. Just play the level and have fun.
Yeah. If you were to look back and see how much you learned from this game, what's the first thing that you think needs fixing? Like, let's say you jump back into the development tomorrow, what do you get onto adjusting first?
The first thing I would adjust is the candy themed level. That is way too hard in the chase section. We had a lot of people tell us that was very hard, which if I'm being frank, the level was a little bit rushed. So there's not a surprise there. We had ideas for it that we just couldn't, or we didn't have time to put into practice. So I'd definitely go right back in and start work on that level again.
I see. Did you guys produce all of the assets yourself, or did you have to outsource anything to save time?
We had our main dedicated 3D artist who did all of the 3D artwork that you see in the game. We did use packs for sound effects, but all the 3D artwork and everything you see is completely made from scratch.
Wonderful, that's great. I mean, I think you've done great considering the time. So certainly congrats on the progress you managed to make. Do you think you're gonna be developing this further, or is this staying as a portfolio piece and you are already onto something else?
The game as it is, I think, will be left just for the portfolio. If we were to return to a Senor Banana game, then we'd probably start from the beginning and go with something a bit more long term. Because with this, it was always going to be, right, we've got this long, we can do this many levels, let's make as complete a package as we can. But if we were to revisit it, we'd definitely start over. Yeah. And just leave this in our portfolios.
Have you ever considered a sequel to this game? And would it be a different fruit?
We would probably consider it, but not for a while. And it'd probably still be banana, because who doesn't love a sentient banana running about? It's kind of like part of the brand, I suppose, but not for a while. And again, it would be a completely new game. Might even take a very different direction than this, because we'd have a lot more time and experience, hopefully.
Absolutely. So, what do you think was the biggest lesson you, as a game developer, got by from like going through the jump user, having that experience, making a project from start to finish?
I think scope creep is something we learned a lot about.
It's a big one.
We had just come like right off our final year of university, where we had to do individual game projects ourselves anyway, so we were like familiar with the process, but there's a big difference between making something in 3 semesters of a university year and 6 weeks for a game jam. So we definitely thought, oh, there's 3 of us, we can have quite a grand vision, but a lot of things either ended up being cut, short down, or like rescoped.
I think that's smart though. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, just to round it off, we definitely think about the scope of the game more at the beginning.
I see.
So that we wouldn't have to perhaps cut as much or rush as many things.
I see. So you managed to actually identify things that were out of scope as you went into it before actually getting started on them in practice.
With a few things, with like more like we identified like how many levels we wanted to do, like how many did we think we could do. And we started with maybe 5 levels, but then that got cut down to the 3 that are in the game, but with larger things, like originally we were gonna we had ideas to put in some like voice work beyond the simple like maniacal laugh that the villain character makes and that sort of thing, and maybe have a few more like slightly less primitive cutscenes. At the minute, there's just one cutscene in the game that's very kind of choppy camera changes and not much animation. So those things were scrapped.
I see. In terms of things that were not scrapped, what's your favorite part of the game as it is today?
Ooh, the sewer level. I really like the sewer level.
Is it for any particular reason, or is it just the thematic of it?
I just think it shows off all the aspects of the game really well.
I see.
It's a good length. It has a branching pathway. It's got like a different floor. Like it's got the ice physics in sections, and it changes perspective at the end to the 2D, which is something we wanted to include in every level, but didn't get around to for time reasons. I think that level just nicely represents like how all the levels should have been and how every level would be in a finished product. Like if we had if we were to redo it, I suppose.
No, I think I know exactly what you mean. It showcases everything that you have created for the game. It's almost like a perfect level. From what you were saying, it's like it's ticking off all of the boxes of what you would want, but at the same time it's not like a area for testing. It's an actual level that flows. So I can imagine why that's the favorite. Certainly. What's your team's ambition now that you went through this experience? You have this portfolio piece, You have completed the employment pathway, the Jump User, with some nominations and some awards, right? What's the plan now?
We don't really have a plan as a team. We've kind of not gone our separate ways. We still communicate and we still talk, but we're just kind of moving towards our own goals. So I'm
Okay.
working on some independent stuff. Another team member is looking for work in 3D, and is at the minute doing some part-time teaching work. So we're just kind of either pursuing our own independent projects or we're looking for jobs in the industry.
I see, I see. And what do you think is the... I'm not sure if I'm repeating this question, but what's the biggest thing that you think is gonna aid you going forward from participating in Jump User? Maybe a skill, something that you have acquired rather than just the portfolio piece, yeah?
I think this was the first time we'd ever used like source control, things like Perforce, and how the pipeline for making a game is different between doing a project by yourself and with others. And I think having the experience of working as a team and like having to communicate with others for assets or feedback has been really helpful. That'll definitely help us moving forward.
I see, wonderful. Well then, it was a pleasure chatting with you. Any shout outs, anything else you would like to say to the audience?
Yeah, I'd just like to give a big shout out to our composer, Josh Dutton, who did an amazing job with our soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic work, and I can't thank him enough.
There it is, okay.
As well as the whole team, just for all the amazing work they put in.
Awesome, wonderful. Okay, thank you so much for chatting with me. We're gonna go to a short break and I'll be back with you guys with the next and the last employment spotlight team, which is Moonsprite. So stay tuned.